There's hearing and then there's listening.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a very good point. That's a very, very good point. It's a very good point. What's one of the, what do you hear consistently at the airport when you walk into the airport, especially in the baggage claim area?
Another lady going on. Radio flights going in and out.
What else? And it's a famous country music star. It's
George Strait.
Who? George Strait. Welcome to it's George Strait, right? Yeah. Okay. Welcome to music. Welcome to Nashville. Blah blah blah. Music City. So one thing that I've seen, and this isn't being critical. This is just what I've seen, and I've actually kind of addressed it with some of you to a certain extent. Is we have a habit, or we developed a habit that we allow the guest to approach us and speak first, versus a guest who approaches the desk and obviously is checking in. Welcome to Music City. May I help you? Not can I help you, but may I help you? Because if you think about it, if you say can I help you, and I'm the guest, I don't know, can you? I mean, think about it.
Or how can I help you?
Or how can I help you? But if we're talking about we're consistently, we should probably be all on the same page with our delivery. There's one thing that separates the Ritz-Carlton is that with anything you ask a Ritz-Carlton associate, they always answer, certainly, my pleasure. Can I have room 4023? Certainly, my pleasure. It's consistent. It's consistent. It's consistent. It's like going and getting a Big Mac in Hong Kong and going and getting a Big Mac in East Nashville. It's the same Big Mac. It's consistency. So, I think, and everybody in this group, from what I've heard, there's a common thread of, with regards to communication. We talk about a little bit of preparing for the other shift or preparing for the next shift. It's we are our brother's keeper. Make no mistake about it. Probably the best example I can point to would be Aaron. Sales. We're trying to fill a convention service manager position, and now with April leaving, it's going to be 2. Kara's just inundated. And so, Aaron was approached and, hey, can you help us out? Absolutely. Not only is that great teamwork, but it's about doing a good thing, not doing the right thing. And I'm sure that, there's plenty for everyone to do with their own job, but we all make sacrifices for the better of the team. So, I think in recognizing we're short-staffed, a lot of that is when it rains, it pours, literally one. We've had a couple of resignations, boom, boom, right after the other. That's fine. We're okay. We're fine. Nice gets us only so far. Nice gets us only so far. It's kind of like, for you girls, you date guys that are just nice. They just nice only get you so far. But you're a really nice guy, but I don't want to date you anymore. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay? Nice gets you only so far. All right? So, with that said, I think each one of us, and I certainly take responsibility for this as well, each one of us has a responsibility that we need to buck up to. Because to a certain extent, we're out of our diapers, right? And I'm being very, 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 very fundamental here. Don't expect somebody to take you by the hand. You see what I'm saying? Although, I don't, we had a very busy, January busy, February busier, March off the hook. So I got to think sometime around March, when we ran almost a 78% occupancy for the month, which is awesome, the pre-ops meetings stopped, probably, I would think. Because if you think about March with 804, what do we do differently in March that we didn't do, or what do we do different in March that we didn't do in February that we didn't do in January? Because January and February were off the hook with guest service, And another thing, is as it relates, active and engaged. Think about this. If you're the customer, or you're the client, and you come to the desk, blah, 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 I think it's not that I think it would stop altogether, because it would still occur, but we would still issue breakfast coupons as far as compensation for things. That's really the only kind of problem resolution that I see, the majority of the problem resolution that we offer. Because in all reality, a guest isn't really maybe looking for breakfast. And you know what? If there's nothing wrong with asking the guest, Mr. Jose, I apologize for the inconvenience. How would you like me to take care of this? And you'd be surprised. Now, if you think, or you're concerned, or you're afraid about asking that question because you think somebody's going to take advantage, there's always one in every crowd. There's always one in every crowd. And that's part of what I call the cost of operating a business. It's part of the cost of operation. Okay? But there's nothing wrong with asking the guest, how would you like me to take care of this? Be confident and know that you have the empowerment to take care of the guest. Because how many here in this room pick up the phone when they have a problem with their cell bill, or they have a problem with their electric bill, or they have a problem with their gas bill, and they call customer service, and they say, okay, well, let me transfer you. And then you have to start the story all over again. And then you have to start the story all over again. And then you have to start the story all over again. I'm going to give you a recent experience I had with AT&T, my cell bill. I've got DSL and I've got cell service. AT&T offers, now this is not me asking, they offer this to combine my bills. Makes it easier, right? They get everything paid all at once. Easier for me because I pay everything all at once. Wonderful. Took me 28 minutes on the phone. Did I get what I wanted? No. As compensation, they offered me, I didn't even ask, the guy offered me 1,000 anytime cell minutes. I didn't even ask for that. All I wanted was to be able to go ahead and put two bills together. And at the same time, get me on paperless billing. Because all they're doing is wasting paper. 28 minutes, didn't get resolved. The phone number he gives me that I can call back on Monday, California call center. Another, another, half an hour, 45 minutes, I just found out. I said, so, it sounds like there's a lot of moving parts on here, but with regards to active and engaged, I think to a certain extent, I'm not going to say that we've lost touch with where we need to be or what it is that we offer guests, but this is a hospitality business. I'm going to be very honest. I hired you. I hired you because you couldn't stop smiling. You had no hotel experience, right? You're getting married. It was like, the second wedding of Princess Di, and I knew that. And you see? You worked at a pharmaceutical and customer service. Everybody hates pharmaceuticals because, the drugs are too expensive, this and that. I hired you for your smile. You had a great personality. I'm sure you still do. I walk by that desk a lot and I don't see the smile, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, what's going on? Now, if it's issues that, it's turnover related, I certainly understand that. Supply issue related, I certainly understand that. If you don't get any resolved with Rachel, I'm sure Rachel will take care of the issue. But if you don't get any resolved with Rachel, come see me. Dan, you're still smiling, so that's a good thing. I don't know, maybe in 3 months that might be different. I'm not kidding you. Melody, you're on the graveyard shift. Who on the graveyard smiles ever? You do. I nominated you for the Associate of the Month.